will you talk about Primite Beryl? Oh yeah, I did see that. Who posted that? I think Vlad posted it. We can talk about that real quick. I don't feel like it's as big of an issue, but we can talk about it. Actually, a good thing to bring up maybe. So here, I saw this tweet by Vlad yesterday saying, looks like it's official. Primite, Dragon, Ether, Beryl is really during both standby phases. Now, the card that we're referring to is the new Primite support card that they are using. This is the reason why it's very meta relevant as well, is like, because you might be wondering like, hey, why is Primite something we're really talking about? This is the best normal summon in Blue Eyes at the moment in the OCG, where people are using the Primite cards because they have great synergy with the vanillas, of course, that Blue Eyes is playing, and then you've got a good normal summon to make your Blue Eyes Link 1. And honestly, the Primite cards could also, I could reasonably see the Primite cards being played in other decks as well moving forward, because it's a pretty solid engine. Anyways, if this card's normal summoned, you can set a Primite spell trap from your deck. You can only use each of the following effects of Primite, Dragon, Ether, Beryl once per turn. You can tribute this card, send a normal monster from your deck to the graveyard. During the standby phase, if you have a normal monster in your field or graveyard, you can add this card from the graveyard to the hand. Apparently, this card used to say, or in the OCG, the way it works, I think it's during your standby phase, which I am not 100% sure if that's like on purpose or just a mistake in like a translation error, which obviously being able to add it back during both standby phases is an advantage. I don't know how big of a deal it really is, right? How big of a deal is it? Very nice for Drill Beam and Droplet. I mean, there's definitely ways to use it, right? Because getting the card to your hand immediately during your opponent's turn is pretty big, because yeah, no, Forbidden Droplet is a great example. Actually, if you have Forbidden Droplet in your opening hand, it matters a lot that you get this card to your hand at the start of your opponent's turn, because then you can just send it for Droplet for free. There's also another card, Primite Drill Beam, which you guys might not be super familiar with because it hasn't seen much play yet. What this card says is, it's a quick play spell card. Reveal a Primite card or a normal monster in your hand except Primite Drill Beam, or if you control a normal monster or a level 5 or higher Primate, you don't have to reveal a card. Then target a face-up card on the field, negate its effects, and if you do, banish it. This card, I mean, I don't have to tell you why this is a good card, right? Like, quick spell, target a card on the field, negate its effects, and banish it is really good. And having a Primite card in your hand, guaranteed, because this thing comes back in your opponent's standby phase, it can be a pretty big deal. During your main phase, if you control a Primite monster, you can set this card from your graveyard, so it even has more benefit. This is a really good Yu-Gi-Oh card in a world where Primite is playable. And in a world where Primite is playable, this card becomes an even better card, right? This is already a good card. It becomes even better if you can add it back immediately. The only thing that we're gonna have to wait and see, I mean, for now, I think this is a screenshot from the official Yu-Gi-Oh card database. So it seems like that this is how it's gonna be working once this card comes out. I can't really remember I can't really remember an example to go off of here. Like, can anyone remember any recent translation errors or whatever like that happened? Have those been reverted, or would they just keep them like that? Aluber adding a Despia card? Yeah, that one was corrected, right? Ecclesia? What happened to Ecclesia? What happened with Ecclesia being mandatory is what I'm getting. Runic activation? What's different about Runics? Exosister Caspatel is still mistranslated. Mandatory in the TCG, but should be optional. Okay. Ecclesia is mandatory in the end phase. If you negate a runic in the OCG, you still have a battle phase. All right. I mean, with those kind of instances, it feels like there is more examples in the past where stuff like this they've just left it, right? They just left it like that. They didn't correct it. They didn't go out of their way to correct it. Of course, with Aluber, they did, right? For anyone wondering, the Aluber, the Jester of Despia, I am pretty sure the original printing of this card, the original printing of Aluber said you can add a Despia spell trap from your deck to your hand, which is obviously useless because there isn't many Despia spell traps. Obviously not what it was meant to do, right? But let me try and see if I can find an image. Oops. If I can find an image of the first printing of Aluber. Aluber. I'll look it up on Card Market. They should have it separated by different prints, right? What was the first printing of Aluber? Was it Dawn of Majesty? Here. Yeah, there you go. This one says, if this card's noble or special summon, you can add a Despia spell trap from your deck to your hand. This one obviously was corrected because this card just didn't work. There's like, I can think of one Despian spell trap, which is the field spell, like the Theater of Despia or something. Or Stage of Despia. I think that has Despia in its name. So yeah, this card literally just had one search target, I think. So they did correct this one. For this one, I don't know how high the chances are that they're gonna correct it. Or how long it's gonna take. How was that? How did that work with Aluber back then? Because they did correct it relatively quickly, which I do think, I guess, little bit of fun fact. I do think that is one of the reasons why this card got reprinted relatively fast. But it was corrected in the database really quick. Yeah, I mean, this one, you just can't have this around relatively, like, for a long time. So it's a whole lot of speculation. At the end of the day, whatever is in the database is how the card works. That this is the case for every single card that has received text changes or anything like that in the past. Whatever the official database says is how the card is going to work. So unless they're going to change this database entry, this is how this Primite card is going to work on release, which the more I'm thinking about it, the more I feel like it's actually a pretty big deal, because the Primite theme itself has a card in the theme that you can search that really cares about having a Primite card in hand. And it is one of the best defensive cards that you could be hoping for in like such an archetype. Like in a mid-rangey, grindy deck, like what the Primite Blue Eyes deck seems to be, being able to search this kind of card and have it immediately be live because your Primite Ether Beryl Dragon will come back to your hand immediately is really, really good. So yeah, that's a pretty significant thing. It's not even a net positive or negative. I think that depends on whether you like Primite or not. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. Here's what it changes. Primite Beryl is broken. This new card text change being on both turns is so good. It makes it so Drill Beam is absolutely free, which changes everything for the deck. This changes the entire meta and actually makes all Primite decks go from tier 6 to tier 5. I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I'm not saying Primite is going to be tier 1, but they're good cards.